Welcome to another live stream Watchalong reaction. Tonight we're reacting to Pumas UNAM versus CF Pachuca, La Liga MX Clausura 2026 semifinal, leg 2, 1-0 on aggregate, 0-1 on aggregate to Pachuca. Pachuca have to win outright to advance to the final because the seeding rule still applies. If a 1-goal win goes to Pumas, well, Pumas would also have to win outright to make the final, but any 1-goal win for Pumas, like a 1-0 for Pumas, would advance them on seeding, as they are the super leader of the table going into this, well, of course, this playoff. And they're hosting, so that just tells you. Second leg hosting, they are the leader. With that being said, Pachuca, so basically for a team to advance, they have to win outright. They have to win outright. Whoever wants to go to the final to play Cruz Azul. Because Cruz Azul last night beat Chivas 2-1. Seeding would have put Chivas through if they drew, but Cruz Azul got a second goal and won on the night, so they advanced to the final. Cruz Azul will host the second leg if they play Pachuca. If they play Pumas, the second leg will be hosted at CU by Pumas. So Pumas will host the second leg if they win this tie, playing Cruz Azul in the final. Pachuca will be hosted in the second leg by Cruz Azul if they win this tie. Because of, again, seeding. Starting 11s are as follows. Pumas UNAM contra Pachuca. CF Pachuca, La Liga MX semifinales, partido vuelta, 0-1 global, Pachuca líder al momento. It's only been 24 hours. You know what? You're probably right. You know what? Signs point to yes, as a Magic 8 Ball would say. Starting 11s are as follows. Keylor Navas. The back five of Uriel Antuna. We have Rodrigo Lopez, Nathan. We have Ruben Duarte and Alvaro Angulo for Pumas. The midfield three of Jordan Carrillo, Pedro Vite, Adalberto Carrasquilla, and the front two of Robert Morales and Juninho. For CF Pachuca in goal, Carlos Moreno. The back four of Carlos Sanchez, Jorge Berlanga, Franklin, Sergio Barreto. I'm thinking of the baseball player, I guess. Wasn't it a baseball prospect? I don't know. Brian Garcia, I think it is. Victor Guzman, Christian Rivera. Yeah, I think it was a Blue Jays prospect from back in the day. Kennedy, Elias Montiel, Usama Adrisi, and Ener Valencia. I mean, y'all won. I mean, I can't say much. You beat a Chivas who lost their best player over 2 legs, and you beat them last night. I can't say much. What exactly does that mean? How exactly do we look at that? Like, was it like, oh, this team is actually good, or did Chivas get kneecapped by this stupid training camp thing? I'm leaning more towards Chivas got kneecapped, and they could only bullshit for so long, like they did leg 2 against Tigres. Like, that made them look better. The fact they made that comeback they did last week, it was last week, honestly. I mean, Cruz Azul did their job, don't get me wrong, but I still think Pachuca or Pumas are the favorite in a second leg or playing Cruz Azul, because I just think they are. I think Chivas were obviously flawed. Chivas were probably fraudulent without Hormiga, and we saw it proven already, and that just got completely proven. So either way, I still like Pumas or Pachuca over Cruz Azul for now. I do. Now, I will say their new manager, Cruz Azul's new manager, is solid, though. Their interim manager, I guess. Hiki? I'm trying. Yeah, either way. He might be the truth. He's got him playing better. He's got him playing better than Larkamon did. So, yes, because the finalists are in Champions Cup. Yeah, so Cruz Azul's in Champions Cup next year, but I think they already were by the table. So, Pumas and Pachuca, I don't think they were, if I remember correctly. I think, like, whoever wins this got their ticket, and there you go. Panamist made save of the year, probably. Finished to Bula versus Vanuatu was epic. Sadly enough, you already got rid of one Canadian goalie, and you did the right thing by doing that. Because if you didn't get rid of Crepeau, I'd hope. But then again, we wouldn't know. Point is, I think Toronto should have signed Crepeau. He'd be better off in Toronto than Orlando. I believe that 100%. Orlando is Swiss cheese. I don't think it's his fault Orlando's as bad as they are. He's just in a bad situation. Dane St. Clair sucks ass, though. But no, we just stuck with Luka Gavrin because, of course. And there's no way we get Panamis. There's no way Portland makes that move. So, yeah. There's no way they make that move. We should have went for Crepeau, but I said that back in the offseason. It's not like that was anything new, but we certainly fucked up by not going for Crepeau. I knew it was a bad look that we didn't go for him. It's certainly now a fuck up. So at this point, let's just play a decent D-row and cut our losses. I have nothing to do with it, damn it. Game about to get started. For Pumas, Navas, Angulo, Duarte, Silva, Lopez, Carrillo, Carrasquilla, Vite, Antuna. So it's a 4-4-2. 4-4-2. Morales and Juninho. Let me guess, you believe Calgary remain unbeaten against Vancouver FC tonight? Yes. Yes. Vancouver FC has been better with Nash is the coach, but Calgary's Calgary. I mean, football's football, but Calgary's Calgary. Calgary are the favorites for sure. I think they will. Daniel Quintero, the center ref tonight. Katia Garcia is the fourth official, which... interesting. Maybe they don't want to lock her out of the final, I guess. Maybe they could build something, make some of it. We'll see. Pachuca in goal, Moreno. The back four of Garcia, Barreto, Berlanga, Sanchez, Montiel, Rivera, Adrisi, Guzman, Kennedy, and Valencia for Pachuca. Pachuca leads going into this game on aggregate. They have to win outright. Either team has to win outright to go to the final. If it's a tie aggregate, that is a Pumas advancement due to seeding, because, of course, will this Pachuca outright beat Al Ali? Well, it depends. Is Adrisi still there? Then they have a chance. I'm not going to say yes outright, but If Adrisi's still there, I like their chances. If he's not, no, I don't. I don't think so. Question is does Idrisi stay? Well, they don't go to CONCACAF anyway, so it's just a theory, a football theory. If they played each other, well, there's still a chance Spurs goes down, but Spurs would have to lose to Chelsea. West Ham would have to win on the final day, and Spurs would have to lose to Everton. That'd be the best way to see Spurs go down. Lose out, and somehow West Ham scams a game on the final day. That'd be amazing. I would love to see it. Spurs had some hope, and then it just gets destroyed over the next week. You know what? It's still possible. Idrisi's a great player who should play for Morocco. I agree. LAFC are losing to Nashville. I'm not surprised. LAFC are on an absolute fall. Like, ever since they lost to Toluca, LAFC have been garbage. 0-0 and we're off. 0-0 esta noche. 0-1 global. Pachuca avanzar al momento. But we have a whole game to play. Pachuca playing forward. It's out for a throw-in for Pumas. Like, LAFC are really in trouble. I like Martinez, though. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, LAFC have been garbage since they played Toluca. They've been, like, something changed. I mean, it's sad, really. Speaking of, I hope you noticed we will be live tomorrow for Game 7 of Habs versus Sabres. So, no, we will not be off tomorrow because the Sabres chose to come back from 3-0 down and beat the Habs 8-3. So that stream is up and ready to go for tomorrow. Just made it right before the stream started because I had to. That was actually shocking, the way that game went down. Habs had the lead. They pulled Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. No. Or was it Lyon? Either way. I think the Habs goalie, or the Sabres goalie, got pulled, and then that, I swear to God, the Habs-Sabres series has been a damn roller coaster, man. It's crazy. Only fitting we go to a Game 7. Only fitting we go to a Game 7 in that series, don't we? It's been an absolute roller coaster. Absolute roller coaster. Of course, in Buffalo, no less, but crossed in. Header. Put down. Pachuca clears it away for a corner. Pumas. There was a chance there for them. A 1-goal win for Pumas will advance them to the final because that would tie the game on seeding. If they won 1-0, be a 1-1 aggregate draw, seeding for Pumas to the final because Liga MX still has that stupid seeding rule. It's not away goals. It's not, which wouldn't matter here because unless Pachuca were to score, if that was the case, headed away. Either way, it's not extra time. It's not penalties. Only in the final. Only in the final. But this week, no. That's got to be the worst way to decide a tie. Like, that's got to be the worst way to decide a tie. Seeding. Who's higher on the table. Like, that's got to be the worst way. It's like, oh, you were higher on the table, so 180 minutes, you were higher ranked. You go through. I swear to God, I never liked it. I never liked it. And I think it started, call me crazy, but I think it started becoming a thing after COVID, or at least, no, right before COVID, I think. Because, yeah, that Cruz Azul Pumas comeback, I think that was before COVID, actually. What was that after? No, wait, it was after. It was after. I think that was 21, yeah. That was after, my bad. I think it was a post-COVID thing. Things absolutely are just melding together, I swear, man. Played over the top by Pachuca. It's going to go out for a goal kick for Navas. My father told me Buffalo will regret running up the score. He might be right. I agree, though. All they needed to do was win. And they were like, you know what? We're just gonna put them to the sword, knowing we have a game 7 to play and they're better on the road. I think you take it easy after it's like 5 or 6. Like running it up to 8 was just like, which I mean, I can kind of get considering how wild it's been. Maybe the Habs would have made it back and flipped it over if they didn't go that far, but I'm sure the Habs are going to be like, oh, you want to run up the score on us? Okay. We're better on the road anyway. And then the Sabres are going to do some dumb shit and then just lose the game. I don't know. I think they probably did set themselves up for some karma. My fam hates me. Chivas was sad last night. I mean, that's what happens when the player who carried you this far ends up going to a training camp for the World Cup before the playoffs. I mean, are we really shocked? Like, it seems to me like people act like that Tigres comeback, which it was awesome. Like Chivas coming back to beat Tigres with how that game played out. Yeah, cool. They still don't have the striker that carried them this far. That was a masterclass of a performance. That was unsustainable. And you're playing a team who arguably on the margins is better. And they actually have a more fuller team with a new manager bounce and a solid interim manager who, honestly, they probably should keep. Hey, learn your lesson this time. Either way. Chivas got what they deserved or what they expected. Like, are we really surprised? Are we really surprised? Not me. Hormiga was the man who took them as far as they did. They went. Like, yes, Milito's a good coach. I'm not saying he isn't. Hormiga took Chivas as far as they went. They're not a good team on the margins. Let's be real. Hormiga was the best striker in the league. He carried them. And they lost him to the camp, the World Cup camp. What the hell did you think was going to happen? So they had a masterclass of a performance to save their ass in the second leg last week against Tigres. I always had a feeling that I wanted to see them somehow find a way to win it because they've had an amazing season. But even then, Chivas bottled Super Leader too. Kind of did it to yourself. I mean, bottling Super Leader in like the last 3 weeks of the season to a red-hot Pumas team and then bottling the playoffs. I mean, you were bottling anyway without him. And then you bottled or with him, and now you bottled without him. So, blocked away. I don't know. Same old Chivas? Maybe. I can't hate, though. I mean, they're the ones who beat us in the Champions Cup final. But same old Chivas? Damn. How'd you end up a Pachuca fan if they're all Chivas fans then? Damn. Black sheep, I guess? I don't know. Black sheep, I guess? 0-0. 0-0. 1-0 global. I actually kind of want to know, how'd you end up being a Pachuca fan when they were all Chivas fans? I actually kind of want to know. I don't know. Pachuca always pulled through for me. Ever since I was a kid, I became a fan of the players. I couldn't see the project. It's clear every time they don't fuck up. Yeah, Pachuca always they always find a way. I agree. Like, I agree. They do. And I got to respect it over the bar. I enjoyed seeing the Chivas fan tears yesterday. I mean, I didn't, per se, but I saw it coming. But I saw it coming. 10 minutes in. You know what? Is Chivas the Mexican Arsenal? I think we need to have the conversation. After the Champs Cup, they had a banter era, and now they're bottling everything. It's never drama, too. If you look at it, the only time they had drama, it was clearly bad calls against them. Yeah. UNAM versus Pachuca, head-to-head in 6 series in the playoffs, 2-4. Pachuca's won more of the series against Pumas in the 6 series of the playoffs. 2 for Pumas, 6 for Pachuca. Header! Over the bar! Pachuca are pushing. Or Pumas are pushing, I should say. Pumas are pushing, but they have to. A 1-0 win would be enough to advance to the final. A draw would send Pachuca through because then they would have the lead. Thanks to the fact they didn't give up a goal. Especially during the red card. And they still get bad calls against them because that red card was the last game was questionable. I'm still pissed about that one. I still don't see the foul. It's like the guy dived as soon as he felt a gust of wind on his ankle. And they called it dog-so. Bowerman sent off. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I'm not rich enough. I wish. Well, nah, I still wouldn't. Well. If I was rich enough, I'd pay somebody to buy the caps. Not even a loan. I'd just pay them the money. I wouldn't buy them myself. Because that's not my club. But if I was rich enough. But I'm not rich enough. It would just be pay. I wouldn't even loan. Here's the money. But I'm not rich enough. Nil-nil. Pumas looks like the slightly better team, but they're at home, so that makes sense. And they're chasing the tie. That makes sense. Playing forward. Adrisi. Ball crossed in, headed away. Cleared away. Still Pachuca. Cleared out for a corner. Ryan Reynolds or someone else have to save the Whitecaps. I'm sure somebody will, though. I'm sure some Vancouverite will buy the team. Not exactly sure who, but that's not my question. Well, that's not my prediction. Cross in. Header. Cleared away. That ball went out, ref. Let him play. Or let it play. $14th minute. I still hope Tottenham somehow get relegated. That'd be beautiful. $16th minute. Played on, and that's out for a goal kick, yes. Garaskia. Tried. Playing forward, cleared away. Vancouver FC got a yellowed for simulation. That's crazy. I've never seen him this hurt. Who exactly? Well, I mean, if they dived, deserve it. If it was actually a foul, they got yellowed for simulation. Damn, referees really suck right now. Referees really suck right now, man. We've got some bad referees on the Chivas. Oh, okay, yeah. I can't say I hate it. Number 10. I can't say I hate seeing Chivas fans hurting, but they'll always have the Champs Cup over me, so I don't know. But either way. Playing forward. Here's a chance. Cross in. Shot over the bar. No. No. Pumas. Oh. Morales over the bar. That was the chance to put them ahead on aggregate, or at least give them the seeding. Well, they have it anyway, but it's not like that changes. But would put them ahead because then they'd have the seeding, and it is what it is. Over the bar. Oh, my. Oh, my. That was the chance. That was their best chance to score this whole tie. And he sends it into row Z. He sends it into row Z. Oh, my God. Momentum took the ball over the bar, I guess. '19th minute. Well, playing forward. So far, Pachuca is still surviving. 20 minutes in, headed away. Cross in, header over the bar. Playing forward. Mohamed Amisi. Are you familiar with him? I think I've heard the name before. Didn't he just... Hold on. I feel like I've heard that name before. Yeah, I think he was in Vancouver. I think, didn't he play for Burundi and AFCON once? And I think he was in CONCACAF playing for Vancouver against Cruz Azul. Yep, that's where it is. Yep. He just got to Vancouver. He was playing in the Champs Cup tie. Yep, that's what I remembered. Yep. And also the AFCON for Burundi. Yeah. I think we already had this discussion. I feel like we already had this discussion. Playing forward. Here comes Pachuca. I feel like we already had this discussion. Damn. Arguably was probably one of their best players in that CONCACAF tie against Cruz Azul. Arguably. I thought. I mean, they did lose 8-0, but I have no complaints about Amisi. No, I had no complaints about him playing forward. I think it was 2019's AFCON with Burundi. Ball crossed in. CPL's quality is definitely improving. I agree. And that's a good thing. Kennedy, cross, nobody there. Perfect cross, but they did not try. But yeah, I think the CPL, I'm glad to see players like Amisi there. Or Dimitri Berteau being in the CPL. I think that's a good thing. Antoine Batiste, I think he came from higher up as well for the CPL. I think he came from higher up as well. Amisi going to Vancouver is sort of more of a shocking move, though. I mean, Batiste and Berteau going to Forge doesn't surprise me because Forge is the best team in the league. And Forge beat Supra this weekend, I think. Yeah? Or in the midweek on this, or yeah, the school day game. I just discovered the game is on Amazon Prime. I think Amazon Prime has streams of like every subscription service. It funnels you in there, I think. Either way, playing forward, 0-0. Let me see here. Berteau, awesome. Antoine Batiste from France. He's a solid player. Played for some clubs that you would recognize. And then came to Forge. Solid, too. Playing forward. Shot blocked away for Pumas. 0.4th minute. So, I mean, Forge has a good scouting. I think a lot of the CPL teams. But the thing about the CPL teams is they get players that you would be like, you know what? I think they could play in MLS and be good. And what I'm saying is I think TFC easily could have got a guy like Dimitri Berteau, and they still have one of the best goalies in MLS. Speaking of goalie problems, you know, I think, yep, Columbus fired Rydstrom today. Laurent Courtois is the interim. I think that was the right move. I don't think anybody in Columbus bought into Rydstrom at all. I think that was the right move. Now, of course, I think the window was slamming shut with Williford Nancy even before he left. But I think Laurent Courtois was the right move. Because he's a good coach. I think he got a raw deal in Montreal. He's better, but I think they'll buy into him more than Rydstrom. Especially if they can't get Williford Nancy back. So. '26th minute. Laurent's the players' coach, so good news. The players like him. '26th minute, 0-0. So far, Pachuca are still in the lead of this tie. That's out for a goal kick. Playing forward, Pachuca. Feel like if we miss out or barely make the playoffs, Issa Tall is also gone. Yeah, he's GMing for his job. I agree. He's GMing for his job. That's part of the reason why Rydstrom was sacked. Because he knows if Columbus missed the playoffs, especially with the fact of how bad the East is and how everybody in the East is like tripping over themselves. Like, I don't think that's why partially I don't think Toronto's out of it. They just fell out of the playoff spots in the midweek. They're still ahead of Montreal. That's why I don't think Toronto's out of it. If they make the right decision. If a team makes the right decision with their coach or changing their coach, they can make the playoffs in the East, and they could probably climb higher up the table than just into the playoffs. That's how bad the East is, save for Nashville and even Chicago, and everybody else is falling over themselves. Besides Nashville and Chicago, everybody's tripping over themselves. Like, the only teams that I would say are surely good, but Pumas puts it over the bar. Oh, that was a highlight. That's the real game with, yeah. But either way, I'd say the only really good teams in the East, for me, are Nashville and Chicago. Like, those are the teams where I'm like, yeah, they're probably the real teams this year. Other than that, it also might just be management, right? But playing forward, cleared away by Pachuca. You know, so, yeah, I think he's GMing for his job. You can't not make the playoffs as a team like Columbus with all the expectations you had, even with losing Williford Nancy, plus the fact the whole East is tripping over themselves. Like, Philly's a shitty team. Like, they're not who I'm talking about here. Montreal, they fired their manager, Donadel. They've been doing better. So they're kind of in that group of teams tripping all over themselves. They sometimes have good results. They sometimes have bad results. Atlanta, I think, is a shit team. NYCFC, I'm not sure. And Chicago get Lewandowski. Yeah. So Nashville and Chicago are the only teams in the East where I'm like, you know what? Those teams are for real. I mean, look at Nashville. They're beating LA 3-1. They're beating LA 3-1. Nashville's for real. Okay? New England, Miami might be second in the East, but I think they're a bunch of frauds. I really do. And they've had their moments with the players they have because they still have Messi. Messi can win you games by himself. I think Miami are frauds. They're beatable, even if they finish above Chicago. New England, they've had a hot start, but I'm not sure if they're actually good. Chicago, I think they're actually better than New England. I think Chicago are behind two teams that are fraudulent. NYCFC, they lost Maxi Morales, but they've been shocking at times. New York Red Bulls, they've been good sometimes. They've been shocking other times. Charlotte, good and shocking, depends. DC United, they're better than I expected, but they're certainly not one of the best teams in the East. Cincinnati, fraudulent. Orlando sucks ass, but they're ahead of Toronto. So they're starting to score a lot of goals as well. They have a Swiss cheese defense, but they're scoring a lot of goals. Toronto, call the pirate, you'll fix your shit. That's all I'm going to say there. Montreal, they're better than what we thought. Columbus, we'll see what happens with Laurent. But are they as garbage as Atlanta and Philly? No. Atlanta and Philly, they're fucking garbage. There you go. Mukhtar has a hat trick. I hope Jeremy Marquez goes to the World Cup. El Vasco's been sleeping on the guy since last tournament. I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got it. Hate to say it, but I don't think he's got it. But I think Chicago and Nashville are the real teams. Yeah, the Matrix. Morpheus is the Matrix. I understood the reference. Out for a goal kick. It was a good movie, yeah. I was just explaining things before I understood the reference or said anything about it. I would like to see us get a DP attacker, decent center back, top league or second division this summer. I agree. But will they spend that money? I mean, right now, Pachuca's doing well enough to hold on. I think we might get a 1-1, 0-0 draw, which would be enough for Pachuca. Pumas are missing some really good chances. Pachuca hasn't really done much offensively. They missed a really good chance, but either way. Cavs blowing out the Pistons in Game 7. Ha. Ha. Well, I told you the Pistons were frauds. I told you. I knew the Toronto Raptors would beat whoever won that Cavs Magic series if the Raptors made it. I don't even know if they would have needed 7 games, but I guess the same stood for the Cavs. The Cavs are going to the conference finals, I guess. Will they beat New York? No, they won't. I don't know if I want them to or not. Ball crossed in. Wide. I don't know if I want them to or not. Honestly, well, shit. 3 out of the 4 teams I really don't want to see win the NBA championship left. How's Kadaskia playing? I think he's playing solidly. Is he as good as his Houston self? No, but I don't see Cleveland being competitive with New York. I really don't want to see Cleveland win the NBA championship. I really don't want to see New York win it. I really don't want to see OKC go back-to-back. The only team that's left that I'd be happy to see win is San Antonio. Took a deflection, Bawanga 3-2. Only team I'd really be happy to see win is San Antonio. That's all I'm going to say. I've always had a soft spot for San Antonio as a team. I've always had a soft spot for their culture. I've always thought Popovich was a good coach. I know he's not the coach anymore, but he's still the president of basketball ops, El Jefe, and he's still very much around the team. If you actually look at the what's been said in the media, Popovich is still around the team a lot. Took over a film session after they lost Game 1 to Minnesota, I think. Trots of the NBA, except Popovich is doing a good job of it. I mean, having Wemby's probably going to make it look good for sure, but saying, well, Phil Jackson did it too. Well, I mean, Phil Jackson is the Trots of the NBA, let's be real. Greg Popovich is actually doing a good job as president of basketball operations. It doesn't hurt having Wemby, that's for sure, but they built a good team. It went his last years as a coach, and even now, Stephon Castle, I mean, they're in the Western Conference Finals. Phil Jackson, on the other hand, is the Trots of the NBA. Let's not forget how much of a disaster that was in New York when Phil Jackson was the GM over there. Let's not forget how much of a disaster that was. Barry Trotz is Phil Jackson, or Barry Trotz is the Phil Jackson of the NHL. Except Nashville never was going to be good anyway. Well, okay, they did make the Stanley Cup final once, but that was before him. That was a lucky, that team was just, that Nashville team was special. Let's be real. That Nashville team for those 2 years was special. And I was happy for them. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was cool to see a team like Nashville in the Stanley Cup final and then going far the next year. They didn't go to the final, but I thought it was cool. But that team was special. They'll never catch that. That was lightning in a bottle. Like, that Nashville team was lightning in a bottle. And you could say, well, there are players from that team still on the squad right now. Yeah, they're getting old. As I said, lightning in a bottle, right? It's almost been a decade since that happened. Let's not forget. Or Tortorella, I meant, as a coach. Oh, I thought you were talking about. Well, yeah, Popovich and Tortorella are very similar, but you said Trots, not Torts. 2 different people. Maybe you meant to say Torts and autocorrect screwed you over. I don't know. That's out for a goal kick. Torts completely turned around Vegas. I'm not surprised. I need 93 to lose so badly, man. I need 93 to lose so badly. I need Colorado to just rip the hell out of Vegas. I still think Colorado's the better team, but I mean, Torts has done well with Vegas. I'm not surprised. I mean, that's why I wanted Torts in Toronto. I didn't want Bruce Cassidy, which the good news is it sounds, rumors-wise, it sounds like Bruce Cassidy, Toronto's not the favorite for him. I'm glad. Edmonton can have him. Honestly, don't know, man. It seems like, but you guys just gonna keep it 0-0. Well, that's enough for Pachuca, so no complaints. No complaints. I think Pachuca's had the better tie anyway. This tie should have been over coming into tonight. Let's be real. Looks like Bonus has been cleaning house with the Blue Jackets, fired the entire staff at the end of the year, pushing for guys like Werenski and Marchment to sign new deals. Yeah, Rick Bonus is doing a damn good job with the Blue Jackets. I think he's awesome. And he was right. Like, I listened to Bonus's last speech after the season, and I mean, they bottled it hard. They could have made the playoffs. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he absolutely was on the money. And people were like, oh, he shouldn't say that. I'm like, why? He was the only reason they almost turned around in the first place. Those players didn't even No, we ain't going to go after Bonus here. No. Why can't he still be the Jets head coach? I knew you were going to say that. I think Rick Bonus is a damn good coach. I really do. And I think he's an amazing coach. And I think he's more of a player's coach until he needs to tell them you're dumb and you're wrong. Like the Blue Jackets. So he knows when to tell them, no. This is not how it's going to go. He can be a player's coach until he doesn't need to be. And that's what that last press conference was. They needed tough love, and he put it out there. He had to call it what it was. And I think the Blue Jackets can be better because they have him. And yeah, maybe he should be still be Winnipeg's coach. But, you know, sometimes you have to have a change, and Winnipeg have lost a lot of playoff series when they shouldn't with the roster they have. And sometimes you got to make changes. Ask Sheldon Keefe. Right? But it's funny. The Leafs want a guy more like Sheldon Keefe than Craig Berube or Mike Babcock as their new coach. So maybe it's the similar thing to the Winnipeg Jets. I wish we still had Sheldon Keefe. I don't know. Which team was easier for Cruz Azul? Pumas. If Bonus can make them competitive from the jump into December and January, I'll be happy. I think he will. Like, I've always liked Bonus. I always have. I've always liked him. And as a coach. So when he was at the Jets, now I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be competitive. No, they don't. Because they actually have a useful physio team. As far as I know, no, Pumas and Pachuca are pretty much healthy because they actually have a good physio team. Yes. They actually know how to take care of their players. What do you know? Did you see the NHL switching to an 84-game regular season next year? Oh, I've known that since last year when they made the change. Oh, I hate it. That's so many games. 84 games, that's so many games. Why are we doing that? Like, what's the point? Well, more money, right? Yeah, more money. Do you realize how tough hockey is? You're adding 2 games onto the season. Then, next year, we're going to have a World Cup of Hockey in the middle of the season. I think it's going to be around where the All-Star game was going to be instead of a preseason tournament like it was 10 years ago. There'll be 11 next year, but either way, I think it's going to be a middle of the season tournament, more like 4 nations than a preseason tournament, like the 2016 World Cup of Hockey, I think. So that makes it even worse. Then you have these players going to Worlds if they don't make the playoffs and they get eliminated early. The juniors playing in World Juniors. Well, that's if they don't get called up. But I think the only thing that's really the 84 games is for is more money for the NHL and the teams. And that's just one extra home game because it'll be one home game and one away game to keep it even, cleared out. So, I don't. 42. Season starts in mid-October. I mean, hey, that's what Pachuca has to do. They're defending well. But I think it would suck if Pumas won this. I think if Pumas wins this, it's going to be 1-0. I think if there's a winner, it's going to be 1-0. I think a 1-1 draw is very likely, which would still put Pachuca through. Honestly, they deserve to. I'll do the Haiti games of the World Cup. Don't worry. I think maybe I have a friendly for them as well on the list. Either way. I don't think they deserve to win. I think Pachuca's played better defense all game, even after losing Bowerman. And Pachuca should have won 3 or 4-0 last game. This tie should have been over coming into tonight. Keylor Navas kept Pachuca or Pumas alive. The outfielders ain't doing a damn thing for him. And, I mean, Keylor Navas hadn't had to do much tonight because Pachuca basically just parked the damn bus and said, okay, we're going to play like Atletico Madrid, which is working. The fact that I'm talking a lot about hockey shows it's working. How about you know that? They deserve to lose. They deserve to lose, Pumas. Either way. Pumas will be hitting at door so much, Pachuca will eventually score. Watch it be one of those games. But 45th minute plus 2 stoppage time. I'm still not worried. I mean, food, not pay attention to the game. I'm actually listening to you instead. And you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, probably. It's like, Rick Bonus? Who the hell is that? Unless you're a low-key hockey fan. But at least I guess I'm teaching you something. I don't know. Unless you're more of a hockey fan than I think. But even then, Winnipeg doesn't have a freaking airport. So, I mean, you may not even know who Rick Bonus is anyway. And who gives a fuck about the Columbus Blue Jackets unless you're from Columbus? You may not know them anyway. Winnipeg is the Canadian Columbus, and then Columbus is the American Columbus. You may not know who he is anyway, even if you are a hockey fan. Well, even if you are a hockey fan, you may not know who he is. Because even if you're a hockey fan, you're probably more like, oh, I know who Edmonton is. I know who Toronto is. I know who Austin Matthews is. I know who Connor McDavid is. I know who 93 is. I know who Shea Theodore is. I know who Pavel Dorofeyev is. I know who Macklin Celebrini is. I know who Anjay Kopitar is. Man, it sucks that Anjay's retiring. 2 minutes of stoppage time. I'm going to miss Anjay. I won't lie. Like, I've never been the biggest fan of the LA Kings. I used to really hate the LA Kings, but Anjay Kopitar has always been a solid player to me. Even when I hated the LA Kings. You know the non-call in 93. That's honestly why. I wasn't alive for it, but there was a long time where that's where I really hated the Kings. Then the Kings were playing the Blues a lot in the playoffs, and I really wanted the Blues to win because of that non-call in 93. Knowing the lore about that. Then the Kings started to suck after they were good for a while, and it kind of died out. Either way. But Anjay Kopitar is a legend. I'm gonna miss him. He was a really solid player. I always thought that even when I hated the Kings. Anjay, the league's losing a good guy in Anjay Kopitar. A good player in Anjay Kopitar as well. Oh, you might know who Tyler Toffoli is. Speaking of the Kings. Even though, well, he was there for a while, yeah. Also, halftime, 0-0. Also, Scott Lawton. 0-0 at the half. Also, you might know who Scott Lawton is. Nil at the half. Settle. Medio tiempo. You won't hear me say a bad word about Scott Lawton. You won't. Even if he won't come back to the Leafs, which I don't think he will now, considering we're not playing the Berube style anymore. He may not come back, but you won't hear me say a bad word about Scott Lawton. You won't. I think he's a good player. Hey, if Scott Lawton doesn't come to the Blues or come to the Leafs, I hope he should go to the Blues because I think he'll fit the system Jim Montgomery has. I think that's actually a good signing for the Blues. I would not mind that. Because I don't think Scott Lawton's coming back to the Leafs with the fact they're trying to go more of a Sheldon Keefe analytical style over Berube style. So I don't think Scott Lawton's coming back, even if he wants to. He doesn't really fit that style. Now, well, he doesn't either. But Pumas has 0 shots on goal. That's not a good sign. That's called their. That's Pachuca's playing like Atletico Madrid. But again, if Pumas was to win this tie, especially on seeding with a 1-1 draw on aggregate, no, that'd be unfair. I want Pumas to lose because they should have lost 4-0 last week, or the last game, I should say, in the midweek. This tie should have been over on Thursday. So if they won somehow to go to the final, that'd be unfair. Like, I want them to get karma at this point. Keep on going, Pachuca. I had no bias about this game whatsoever until about 30 minutes into the first half. Now I want Pachuca to hold on or just win outright because it would not be. I don't think there's any fairness there if Pumas were to scrape through. So far they're getting what they deserve. With that being said, we'll take a short break at the half. Nil at the half. 0-0 medio tiempo. 0-1 global. 0-1 at the half. Pachuca leads deservedly. Ooh, Dembele came off injured in the PSG game 2 weeks before the UCL final. Oof. Hamstring issue. Oof. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. Sit tight, be back. You're back for the stats at the half. The Streets won't forget 2023 Carrasquilla. I agree. Here's the thing. He is playing poorly today, but here's the dirty little secret. I don't think Carrasquilla has been the same player that he was in Houston. I don't think he's ever been that 2023-24 Carrasquilla. Streets won't forget. When he was in Houston, that was peak Carrasquilla. A Burger King El Tri Mexico commercial. Didn't think I'd see that. Let me say this. I don't think Carrasquilla is the same player he was in Houston. We will be live for Freiburg versus Aston Villa on Wednesday. Could that be the environment? Possibly, but he's still one of the best players for Panama. The only time you truly see Carrasquilla sort of show up to the level he was in Houston was when he plays for Panama. So it might be the environment, but I still don't think, I think Carrasquilla, Pumas bought Carrasquilla for him to be their best player, for him to be what he was in Houston. And that hasn't happened. Yeah, I know Giovanni Vinci went to TNA, I know. So, or Fabian Eichner went to TNA. But, which is weird, because didn't Marcel Bartel get him fired? Either way. You think a top company could sign him? I don't think he's good enough for a top company, I'm going to be real. With that being said, stats to half, 69% possession to 31% possession. 10 shots to 0. 0 shots on goal to 0. 1 big chance to 0. 246 accurate passes to 90. 88% pass accuracy to 71%. 1 yellow to 0. 1 corner to 1. 10 shots to 0. 0 shots on goal to 0. 281 pass to 127. 88% pass accuracy to 71. 15 throws to 8, 2 offside to 0, 1 yellow card to 0, 0 red card to 0, 6 fouls to 4, 0-0 at the half. 0-0 miro tiempo, 0-1 global, Pachuca líder al momento, miro tiempo. Oh, you're talking about Carrasquilla. Do you think a top club could sign him? No, because I think he pissed that away. With the way he plays at Pumas, unless he has such a good World Cup that a team is like, yeah, his club form isn't there, but look at how he plays with Panama. Look at that World Cup performance. The only way, to me, how Carrasquilla gets signed by a top club is he has such a good World Cup, gets to maybe the quarterfinals. They kind of have a Costa Rica run because of him. They're like, you know what? We're going to sign you. I don't think. It's a very unlikely situation. And, like, what's your line for top club? Potential Moneyball signing in, like, La Liga? Yeah, I agree. Like, he'd be more of a, and I wouldn't say Real Madrid or Barcelona, but do you call, Atletico a top club? Aston Villa, a top club. Like, if you call Aston Villa a top club, Tottenham, if they're still in the Prem, maybe. Atletico, like, it depends on what you define as a top club. Like, if you call Atletico, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Lyon, Olympic Lyon, Nice, AC Milan, Inter. If you call those big clubs, then yes. If he has a good World Cup, yes. I don't see him going to Man City or Chelsea. Actually, no, I could totally see Chelsea getting Carrasquilla. I could totally see that just because Chelsea is Chelsea. How old is he? Well, it doesn't matter how old he is. 27, center mid, attacking center mid in a Xabi Alonso system. They want to get older players. If he has a World Cup, yeah, no, Chelsea might do it just because they're Chelsea. No, I could see that. You know what? That'd probably be the biggest club he could go to is Chelsea just because they're idiots. Which, I mean, I hope it plays out. Shit, I might buy a Carrasquilla Chelsea jersey just for shits and giggles if he goes there. I might just do that just for the meme. It's like, hey, he's a CONCACAF player and he went to the freaking Chelsea because how good he was at the World Cup. Okay, yeah, I'll just do that for the meme. I'll do it for the meme. How about it? Newcastle, I could see Carrasquilla going to a Newcastle if he had a good World Cup. But then again, do we call Newcastle a big club? Do we? I mean, can we call Newcastle a big club? But they'll need somebody to get in there. I think Anthony Gordon's leaving Newcastle, right? Carrasquilla would be a good replacement, or at least a shot at it, you know, especially if he had a good World Cup. So that's a thought. I'd say Newcastle's a sleeping giant. They had a really disappointing season, though. But again, it's like, what do you say is a big club? Like, that's a sliding scale. Like, can Carrasquilla go to a big club? He'd have to have an amazing World Cup because it's not his club form. I can tell you that right now. But if he has an amazing World Cup, is Newcastle a big club? Is Atletico a big club? Is Olympique Lyon a big club? Like, do you define them as that? Because he ain't going to Man City. He ain't going to Arsenal. He ain't going to Real Madrid. He ain't going to Barcelona. He ain't going to PSG. He ain't going to Juventus. He ain't going to Inter Milan. He ain't going to, hell, I mean, do you want to call a Saudi club a big club? I don't. But if he does, he ain't going to Al Nassr. He ain't going to Al Hilal. MLS clubs aren't big clubs, especially if he went to Liga MX just to go back. So that's sort of a Russia? No. Zenit's not a big club, even though you want to call Dinamo Zagreb a big club? I mean, Rio would. I don't know if I would. Like, biggest club in Croatia? Sure. Are they a big club in the sense of European football? No. Olympiacos? They may have won a conference league, but no. Are they bigger than Dinamo Zagreb? Possibly. But it depends on what you call a big club. And it depends on how. But the fact is, can Carrasquilla go to a top 5 league if he had a good World Cup? Amazing World Cup. Panama goes to the quarterfinals or has a really strong round of 16 run. Sure. It ain't going to be his club form. So it's not going to be his club form. So that it really is just. I think he's a good player. I've seen him at his peak in Houston. Newcastle's going to have a very interesting summer. I agree. They got to make a lot of moves because I know they're very disappointed at where they are. And frankly, I don't know if you keep Eddie Howe. I think you got to let him go. Honestly, I think they should fire Eddie Howe second half. Since Chelsea didn't get Andoni Iraola, I think that's where you go. I think you have to fire Eddie Howe for a guy like Andoni Iraola. Luckily, because Chelsea didn't go for that guy. Because I thought that's where we would go, honestly. Cesc Fabregas, he will not go to Newcastle. I don't think so. I think Iraola, I think you should be happy Chelsea said, no, we're going for Xabi Alonso. You should be happy. Because I think Eddie Howe needs to go. I think he has to go. Hate to see Tonali go. I agree. Sandro Tonali, like Newcastle, needs a guy like him. And also Anthony Gordon. And we're off in the second half. So, they're going to have to make a lot of moves in the summer. But I think they also have to fire Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe. Tonali at the UEFA playoffs. Yeah, because he's Italian and he's one of the biggest players on the national team. Has been for a while. He's been a standout to me ever since. He's been awesome for a long time. I mean, I even like Voltamata for the most part. Some Geordies would be angry at you for that one. I mean, I don't think Voltamata's a bad player. I think he had to bet in, but I think part of it's the fact Newcastle have just they haven't been good enough this year. And I think he's a good player. I think he's a scapegoat more things than not. I think Voltamata is a scapegoat because I don't think he's the problem. No, he's not Isaac, but who is? He's not Isaac. Who is? Anthony Alanga, though, okay, I can understand people hating on him. He was garbage. He was garbage. Anthony Alanga was garbage. I used to be a big Anthony Alanga fan. Nah, he ain't that guy. He ain't that guy. Or I used to be a big believer in him, so to speak, back when he was at United. No, he ain't that guy. He's garbage. He's garbage. I don't know what happened, but he's garbage. Now that I can understand. He garbage. Corner for Pumas, Pedro Vite. You know, Pumas likes buying good players from mid-MLS teams. They really do, don't they? Carrasquilla and Pedro Vite, huh? What do you know? I didn't realize that. Weesab not too bought in. Yeah, I don't disagree there either. 48th minute. But no, I think they have to get rid of Eddie Howe. I think they have to. Ball crossed in. But there's talent there. I mean, yeah, West Ham's West Ham, but I thought that was one of the better Newcastle performances of the season. I'm not happy they won. I'm not happy they won. Sorry, I wanted West Ham to win so Tottenham would go down, but Tottenham can still go down as long as Tottenham loses out and West Ham wins on the final day. So as long as Tottenham goes down in the end, I'm not too mad about it. You know, I thought it was one of their better performances. I thought it was one of their better performances of the season, but I still think they need to get rid of Eddie Howe. There is talent there. It's probably one of the first ones where they've actually lived up to expectations to me this year. So, you know, I think they have to go for a guy like Iraola, Andoni Iraola. I think they have to. Especially now that Chelsea didn't take Iraola. You're welcome. I thought Iraola was going, like, before Xabi Alonso became a big thing, I'm like, if it ain't Fabregas, it's going to be Iraola. That's where I was looking. I'm like, Blue Co's going to go Fabregas or Iraola because Fabregas still loves Chelsea. He would probably leave Como for Chelsea because he ain't going to leave because Arsenal ain't going to be open. But if Chelsea wants him, he'd consider it. But if not, it's going to be Iraola. I had no idea. Like, they were like, oh, they're talking to Xabi Alonso. I'm like, they're not going to get him. Like, there's no way. Xabi Alonso would come to Chelsea? Now, partially, I thought Liverpool would actually fire Arne Slot. So I was like, yeah, like, that's going to happen. I'm like, yeah, no, if Liverpool doesn't fire Arne Slot, yeah, we probably could. But I was like, they're surely going to fire him, right? They're surely going to fire him. They didn't, or at least not quick enough so where we would lose Xabi Alonso. So I'm glad Chelsea got that one down quickly. And that's out. I'm glad about that one, I'm not going to lie. I think I'm honestly very excited. Even if we don't get European football, I am very excited for what Chelsea is going to be under Xabi Alonso. I've never been this excited for a managerial appointment for Chelsea since Thomas Tuchel. And I was right to be excited for Thomas Tuchel. So I think we might have our Chelsea back. We might have our Chelsea back, guys. We might have it back. Guardiola's leaving Man City, and this will be announced soon. That was like the worst kept secret of all time. Like, we've known for like 2 or 3 months Guardiola wants to leave City, and Maresca is going to be the new manager. That's part of the reason he got fired. Blue Co found out City was talking to Maresca, and Maresca was like, you buy me a center back in January or I'm gone. And they're like, nope, bye-bye. Yeah, you could go. We don't care if you want us to Club World Cup or Conference League and Conference League. No, you could go. We got Liam Senior. Yeah, how'd that turn out? Well, until we got Xabi Alonso, of course. But I think we might have our Chelsea back, guys. I think, because let's be real. The team, Chelsea is a solid team. Chelsea does have a solid team. New Zealand, who's in the World Cup, right? Jamaica's not in the World Cup. Jamaica didn't qualify. They didn't live up to expectations. New Zealand's better by default. New Zealand made the World Cup, and they have a solid, low-key, good squad. Like, it's not, I mean, of course, they're the best team in the OFC, but New Zealand has a low-key, really good squad. It's not like they're the biggest team in a small pond. I mean, they are, but they have some really quality players. They have some really quality players, and they finally got an automatic spot to the World Cup. I don't think they're as easy to beat as you would consider. I think people are very much going to underrate New Zealand going into this World Cup. I don't think. Either way, 52nd minute, 0-0. Scraped a 1-0 win versus New Caledonia. Do you think he'll actually go? Guardiola going to Miami? No. If he coaches anything else, he'll coach Spain. I don't think he's going to MLS. Yeah, like, New Zealand's a strong national team. Shot save. I think New Zealand's better than Jamaica. I do. Like, the talent on the roster, the fact they actually perform, New Zealand. And they went to the World Cup. They're going to the World Cup. More than Jamaica could say. Jamaica had the easiest. Finally, they had the best chance in all this time to qualify for a World Cup. They had the easiest group in the final round, and they still bottled it. Curaçao's in the fucking World Cup. On paper, Curaçao does not have the players Jamaica does. And who made the World Cup? Hell. So, exactly, it's New Zealand. And then you had the playoffs. And, yeah, you could say Jamaica got hard done by in the final, but they still scraped by New Caledonia. And, yeah, you could say they probably had their moments against DR Congo, but, I mean, look at all the names on paper for Jamaica. They should be much better than this. Free kick for Pumas. They should be so much better than this, 55th minute. And they're not. Whether that's the JFF's problem, whether that's Steve McLaren's a damn dinosaur, whether that's Rudolph's speed was in over his head, I don't know. It's everything. Whether it's a lot of mercenaries who can't play for England, so they're going to play for Jamaica because they're from the diaspora, who may not really care about Jamaica. Possibly, you know. A healthy Chris Wood over a healthy Leon Bailey every day of the week for me. Well, they play two different positions. Leon Bailey's more of a winger, and Chris Wood's more of a pure number 9. It's two different things. But I agree. 55th minute. But I agree. 55th minute. Free kick for Puma. Shot. Goal! 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 Goal de Pumas! tabla de posiciones de tabla. Líder, Pumas, Jordan Carrillo. Golazo. Golazo. Pumas lead on seeding. 56 minutes through the game. What a free kick. They finally broke down the wall. I kind of hate it for Pachuca, but either way, off the post and in. What a shot. What a shot. Wow. Off the post and in. Just boom. Lovely. Can't get mad at the shot, but Pachuca was defending well. They gave away a stupid free kick, and Jordan Carrillo makes them pay. So on seeding, Pumas leads. Pachuca needs a goal to advance. They would have the lead on aggregate. They cannot allow another. A one goal win is enough for Pumas. A draw would put Pachuca through. Pachuca needs a goal. 56-minute goal for Carrillo. Pachuca needs to go for a goal now. That's what happens. Will Keylor Navas' efforts finally put them through? Because as I said, the first leg, Keylor Navas kept Pumas in it. He made so many saves to save their ass. A 1-0 win would be enough for Pumas because of seeding. Pumas passes with seeding. That's what I've been saying. Yes. They passed with an aggregate tie because they're the higher team. Finn, too solid, was top versus Chile. Yep. Finn Sermon's awesome. Yeah, I got to agree. That was the best goal of Liguilla. That was awesome. Because, again, Pachuca should have won 4-5-0 on Thursday. They should have. And Keylor Navas made sure that didn't happen. Hell, even 2-0. So right now, Keylor Navas is the big reason why Pumas is advancing and Jordan Carrillo finally scored. Honestly, yeah, you're right. You're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. Vamos, Pumas. Free kick for Pachuca here. A goal would put Pachuca back in the lead. If they do score. Plays over the top. Header wide. They've awoken the gopher. Los Tuzos. Football Benjamin Button between the sticks. Well, either him or Guillermo Ochoa. Also, Guillermo Ochoa. Honestly, he has to be the starter at the World Cup now, doesn't he? He has to be. He has to be. Because Malagon didn't make it, of course. We're going to see. Guillermo Ochoa is the World Cup version of Mariah Carey. That joke worked a lot better last time because it was during the Christmas season, but you get my point. Guillermo Ochoa is Mariah Carey. Nobody listens to Mariah Carey's music except for November and December, and it's one song. All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's only one song. Blocked away. Guillermo Ochoa, nobody thinks about him until the World Cup. That joke worked better last time when it was actually during the Christmas season. When the World Cup was actually during the Christmas season. It worked better last time. But either way. 60th minute. Ha ha ha. I fear teams from Argentina, Brazil, or Europe will go after Milito, heck, even Saudi. You're probably right. Cleared away. Probably right. For whatever reason, I felt Real Madrid didn't appreciate Navas. They were always flirting with other goalies. I agree, because I think they saw the flag that was next to him, and they're like, why is a Costa Rican goalie our number one goalie? You know? I don't think they respected him because of I think they didn't respect him because of the flag by his name, or the flag on his FIFA card. I think that's why they didn't respect him, because they couldn't believe that their number one goalie was Costa Rican. I think Real Madrid looked at him and said, he's the best goalie in CONCACAF, but he's from CONCACAF. That should not be the Real Madrid number one keeper. We don't care how good he's doing right now. That should not be our number one keeper. And that's why they flirted with other keepers, because they're like, oh, we can find somebody better from Spain or from England or from Italy or whatever, or Belgium, like they did with Thibaut Courtois. Which I have my problems with that move, for sure, as a Chelsea fan. But were they wrong about Thibaut Courtois? No, but I feel like they should have respected Navas more. And they kind of disrespected him because they were being sort of classist. They were being Euro snobbish. They were like, oh, Costa Rican, why is he our number one goalie? I feel like it was only because of his flag. If he was Spanish, even Mexican, I think he would get less shit. Still would have. But Costa Rican, they're like, Costa Rica? What the fuck is Costa Rica? They're nobodies. Which, weirdly enough, I think he got signed because of that World Cup run, but they didn't realize he'd be a number one goalie. They're like, oh, this guy's good enough to be a two goalie. He became their number one goalie, and they're like, we can't have this. Costa Rican is our number one goalie? We can't have this. I think he was probably signed to be their number two goalie, which he was until, I think, Iker Casillas got injured and got old, and then he just took it with both hands, and they were like, nah, we can't have this. We can't have this. Which, either way. Even Mexico, I don't think he would have got the shit that he did. Hell, even Brazil, you're right. Or Argentina. I think it was the flag on his FIFA card. Yes, they're winning on aggregate by seeding, yes. If Ochoa goes to the World Cup, I hope not. I hope he's a sub. He's way past his prime. Who the hell do you have, though? Like, if Malagón was healthy, I'd be like, yeah, I think he'll go as a sub. He's not. What, you want Raul Rangel? You want Dillon Rangel to start? It's the same. There's no difference. Like, no. There's no difference. No. Like, you might as well just start Ochoa and let him have his World Cup, because if Malagón was healthy, no, Malagón should start. I agree. Dillon Rangel, we're really going to be like, no, Dillon Rangel should start. No, he's not. No. Besides, who else? Like, you have three number two goalies. You might as well just let Ochoa do it, just for the memes at this point. Take Sanchez from San Luis. But overall, substitutions. I think you just let him see the man is injured. Bring some young talent, plenty of young Mexican keepers like Ochoa from Cruz Azul. Guzman off for Bautista. Player down hurt here. I mean, yeah, but if they didn't get called up to the camp, I don't think they're going to be there. Like, you have what you have. Carlos Moreno, he just let that happen either way. Oscar Wally is Spanish, so it doesn't matter anyway. But he would have been in the camp anyway. Ochoa walks onto the field on a walker. Hey, the good thing about goalies, they can be old as shit and they still could do well. Ask Gigi Buffon. 66 minute. Pumas. Yeah, none of their other 3 goalies. No. You might as well just go with Ochoa at this point. Especially without Malagon. How about Rodolfo Cota? USA has some really good keepers. They always have. Like, the USA has always been a nation where you're like, if there's a position where you're like, you know what? We have multiple guys we could put here and pretty much no drop off. It's goalkeepers. Like, USA's had some really good goalkeepers in their history. And sometimes 2 or 3 at the same time. And I think there have been players for the USA that have been snubbed because of other goalkeepers that were already good. Maybe even 4 or 5 deep, and most of them play in MLS. Like, I think the USA has always been a goalkeeper country. Like, that's never been the problem. That's never been the problem. I mean, Casey Keller, Tim Howard, Brad Friedel, Brad Guzan, Matt Turner, Matt Freese, Ramondo. Ramondo was American, right? I think he was probably both, but I think he played more for the USA. Ramondo chose the USA, I think. Ramondo, legend, by the way. He was one of them that got snubbed. Ramondo got snubbed from a lot. They usually come from other sports. Like, I always had a soft spot for Ramondo. Like, he got subbed or snubbed bad. Like, Ramondo deserved a better career. For sure. Dude got snubbed hard. He deserved more of an international career in my book, Ramondo. And it sucked because he was short as hell. But I think that's why I was a big fan of him. Because the dude was 5'9" and a goalie in MLS and one of the best goalies in MLS for such a long time. And I'm short. I'm not even 5'9", but it's like, that's awesome. That guy's so short and he absolutely dominates and should be on the U.S. men's national team. Like, it was always, he only got 22 caps for the USA. Like, I mean, Tim Howard was Tim Howard, but, dude, Ramondo, amazing. Amazing. Dude deserved much better nationally, internationally. Playing forward, so much better. Pumas have the ball. Tim Howard was considered one of the best in the world for a good long minute. I agree. He was. He was arguably one of the best goalies in the world for a while there. I agree. But the USA's always had good goalies. Like, you can't say. Like, one of the best positions for the USA was goalie. It's been goalie. Like, you always could look to the names on the list. Jorge Campos as well. Yes, 5'7", and a striker too. Like, yeah, no, Jorge Campos, same reason why I was a fan of Ramondo. Like, I've always been a fan of Jorge Campos. Because dude was short as shit, but he also played striker as well. They also threw him up there as striker as well, so if I'm not mistaken. So, man, Jorge Campos is the GOAT to me. Playing 2 tall guy positions as a short dude's the GOAT to me. I don't care if he's a Mexican player. Like, Jorge Campos has got my respect. That was... I got to make sure I'm not talking about somebody else. Yep, striker. Yep, he did both. I had to make sure. I was like, am I talking about somebody else? But 35 goals throughout his career. Of course, Warcheski scores for Calvary. Like, Jorge Campos is the GOAT to me. 5'7", damn good goalie, and a damn good striker. He played 2 tall guy positions at a world-class level. He played 2 tall guy positions at a world-class level as a short guy, and I'm a lot closer in height to Campos than Raimondo. Like, height doesn't measure heart. Take that as it is. Jorge Campos is a GOAT to me. Legend. If you don't love Jorge Campos, you're not right. Something's wrong in your head. Especially if you're a short person. But even if you're tall, you have to respect what Jorge Campos was. Legend. Always. I saw Argentina could face USA round of 16. Just imagine the hype about this game. And the USA would get shredded. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, not again. No. Fuck. I just realized there's going to be, if the USA gets shredded, some jackass is going to start saying, oh, Pochettino's Argentinian. Of course he wanted Messi to win. He threw the game, just like they did for Tata back in 2022. Remember that? Remember that bullshit? Well, I don't know if it was bullshit, but remember when some Mexico fans lost their minds and they were like, oh, Tata threw the game at the World Cup to let Messi win. Especially, and it was right after the Saudi game. And people were like, oh, Tata threw the game. He's Argentinian. He threw the game. He didn't want El Tri to win. I mean, Chilavert as well. Campos was such a G. Yeah. Well, do you blame him? I mean, do you blame him? The dude was a damn unicorn. Do you fucking blame him? Shit. If I was that special and they wanted to put my face on everything and they were going to fucking pay me for it, I'd do it too. I don't blame him one bit. If I was I don't blame him one fucking bit. Like, if I was, like, and they still do. Who am I kidding? Jorge Campos probably still has his face on everything right now. Who am I kidding? Who are we kidding? He still has his face on a lot. He's still a damn unicorn. I don't blame him one bit. Dude's set for fucking life. Unless he spends his money like a dumb fuck, but that's probably why he's still... Get your fucking bag. What's the problem with that? Like, if I'm that special that everybody wants my face on everything and they're going to pay me for it, you think I'm going to say no? Fuck no. Now, would I piss all that money away? Probably not. At least not on rich people stuff. But either way. Now... Video game consoles? Possibly. Jerseys? Possibly. Hats? Possibly. Taking care of dogs, where saving them or adopting them? Probably. Building a farm? Probably. Food? Probably. Technology? Probably. But rich people stuff? No. Not cars, for sure. Unless it was an F1 car, then we might have a discussion there. Unless it was an F1 car, then that might be a different discussion. Or an F1 simulator, that might be a different discussion. A Le Mans car, that's a different discussion. But, like, road cars? Honestly, no. El Pescadito Ruiz, remember him? Yep. Yankees losing today was shocking. Oh, I can't wait till the Blue Jays play the Yankees. The Blue Jays are going to sweep them motherfuckers. I think it's about to turn, boys. I think it's about to turn, boys. That's all I'm saying. The Blue Jays, this is where it turns. The Varsho Grand Slam, this is where it turns. The Blue Jays are back. You thought we were dead, we're back. This is where it turns. This is where the Blue Jays go on their run. The Blue Jays, Varsho's walk-off grand slam was the spark. This is where it begins. We're going to go on a run of all runs, just like last year. It's coming. I'm telling you right now. 1-0, 77th minute. Maldonado, you said dominate. You didn't specify how. You've been struck by Pastor Maldonado. Fucking terrorist. Pastor Maldonado was an F1 terrorist who crashed into everybody who crossed his sights. Also, Roman Grosjean. Also, Roman Grosjean. Terrorist. Header. Also, Kevin Magnussen. Terrorist. You didn't say how. You didn't say how. Man, the World Cup's going to be so fun. I agree. It's going to be fun. Like, the thing about the World Cup is I feel like it's going to be like Qatar. I feel like this World Cup's going to be like Qatar, where nobody really had any hype for it, and even less this time going in. But the football is going to be amazing. And people are going to flip and say, oh, I'll always love the idea of this World Cup. Like people were very negative about Qatar before it happened. Rightfully so. But then people forgot about all that when the football was played. And they said, oh, this was the best World Cup ever, which it was. But now people are just like very... And I mean, people are getting priced out, but people are very apathetic to it. But I guarantee you, I feel like the football is going to be like Qatar, if not better. Like the football is going to be so good at the World Cup, even with the extra teams, that I think people at the end of the World Cup are going to be like, no, this was the best World Cup ever. Sort of like how the Club World Cup did. I feel like the Club World Cup had that vibe as well, that people didn't really respect the idea, but at the end of it, people were like, that was awesome. Like even Europeans, I feel like a lot of people were like, you know what? That was awesome. That tournament was amazing. I feel like the same's going to happen here. Also like Qatar, where the football is so good, people are going to be like, yeah, that tournament was awesome. That was an amazing tournament. I feel like that's how it's going to turn out. It's going to catch a lot of... I always am. But, you know, I feel like... Hell, even I had my suspicions about the Club World Cup. But that was... I'm biased because Chelsea won the thing and scammed the whole fucking tournament. But I thought the Club World Cup was amazing. I thought that was an amazing tournament. But I think a lot of people agree. Like, people had a lot of suspicions, and then people loved the Club World Cup last year. So I think it's going to be similar. It kind of had the same, nobody was really hyped for it until it started, and then everybody watched the football. Like, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's because the Euro snobs control the narrative in English football. If they get pandered to favoritism, they get upset. Oh, that would be... I mean, I'll do that game anyway. But that game, oh my God, boys. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's going to be one of the most dangerous... I'm going to piss somebody off way too fucking much on that live stream. Oh my God, man. We are going some. Oh boy, man. Like, that is going to be the most nuclear live stream ever. I mean, hell, 2022 was bad. Things have changed in 4 years, man. 2022 Iran USA. I streamed that game as well. That one was a little bit wild. That game was wild. Things have changed. If Iran plays the USA, oh my God. I want to see it just for the memes. Holy shit. And how wild that stream's going to be and how wild that game's going to be. Oh my God. Pachuca pushing forward for a goal. Pumas has held on since they had the free kick. Oh my God. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. My stream's going to be insane. The game's going to be insane. The build-up's going to be insane. You thought 2022 was crazy? Watch this, motherfucker. Make Netherlands, Argentina look like nothing. Wow. Iran versus the USA. Oh, boy. I can't wait. I hope it happens. I hope it fucking happens. I hope it happens. And you know what? I think it'd be better if Iran won that. If Iran won that match, it would be better. It would be better if Iran won that match. Donald Trump's crash out would be the funniest thing ever. Well, header wide. Well, okay. It'll be the funniest thing ever if he keeps it to words. If he keeps it to a rant, it'll be the funniest thing ever. If he actually nukes them, no, it won't be funny. But if he keeps it to words, if he keeps his crash out to words and not military action, it's going to be the funniest thing ever. If he bombs the shit out of them because the USA loses at the World Cup or nukes them, then that's different. But if he keeps it to words, it's going to be the funniest shit ever. It's going to be the funniest shit ever. But knowing Trump, he might actually bomb them. Knowing Trump, he might actually bomb them if the USA lost the World Cup to Iran in their own stadium, in their own country. He will bomb them. Who am I kidding? That motherfucker is going to bomb them. Who am I kidding? Nuke them, probably. Okay, I guess we should want the USA to win just so he doesn't do that shit. Well, if he hasn't already. Who are we kidding? I mean, either way. Honestly, good idea. Ball crossed in. 85th minute. What the hell happened to that number? Either way. Is that as O or a 0? 1-0. 2. Either way, Pumas is getting pretty sloppy. I want Pachuca to score so bad. What the fuck? Santiago Trigos has the 20th Century Fox jersey. Because if you look at the old 20th Century Fox logo, the zero's kind of fucked up. Like if you look at the 80s logo, it's kind of... You'll see it. Like that 0 is janky. I call it the 20th Century Fox janky jersey. I don't know what happened there. Because if you look at the 80s 20th Century Fox logo, the 0's kind of fucked up. Playing forward is Pumas. Yes, I'm neurodivergent. Why do you ask? Yes, I got a touch of autism. Why do you ask? I also love trains. Yes, I have a touch of autism. Why do you ask? Probably more than a touch of it, but at least I can hide it. Until I talk a lot about like closing logos and trains and football. Playing forward over the bar. Because they want to take over Cuba. Either way, 1-0, 1-1 on aggregate. 1-1 esta noche. Pumas líder de tabla. Sean Cooper, is that you? No, I don't know anything about. Well, I mean, if Sheldon Cooper was a weather nerd, I guess, yeah. Communist revolution. Well, I mean, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, they almost, well, it was more Russia, but, you know, they did have a nuke pointed at us. I mean, other than that, though, nothing. Then we just embargoed them. So, I mean, did they really do anything to us? I mean, they didn't nuke us. Either way, and that would have been Russia anyway. This is how it ends. Playing forward. 88th minute. But then again, I went through school normally. So, no, I'm not Sheldon Cooper. But if he was a weather nerd, I guess close enough, yeah. Severe weather nerd and hurricane nerd, yeah, he'd be close enough. There's beef. Over the top. Brought down, and that was out for a goal kick. 1 more minute before stoppage time. Well, yeah, I mean, why would the U.S. fight countries that actually are posed as a threat to them? They never have. Well, except for the World Wars. But as I said, World Wars were, at least in the macro, meaningful wars that weren't complete bullshit. I didn't say. Everything else, really, the USA's just been bullying smaller countries and also bullied Russia's sycophants. We should have never went to Vietnam or Korea. No. Or Desert Storm. Or my point being is yeah, everything the U.S. has done since World War II has been bullying, completely bullying. '89th minute. You can have your thoughts on the World Wars, but at least playing forward, cross in, shot, save. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes of stoppage time. TUDNA. Games on TUDNA. The USA arm an uprising, and when they ask for assistance, they say we don't get involved in internal affairs. And then when the uprising becomes a communist dictatorship, they overthrow the dictator. Oh, by the way, look at it on. Look at it on. The USA put in a USA-backed leader, and then the Shah got overthrown, actually, didn't we get the Shah overthrown, which led to the Ayatollah, which led to this? Wait, didn't we back the Ayatollah's revolution in the first place? And then 30 some years later, we kill the guy. Chance shot over the bar. No! Over the bar for Pachuca. That was the chance for Solomon Rondon. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. No. No. Cavs are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I have nothing to do with it. It's sad. I feel like it's sad. It feels like Pumas don't really deserve the win. I agree. It's sad that Cuban kids deserve food and deserve to be able to eat and live and have a good life. Well, hell, any people in Cuba for that matter. And it sucks that countries can't get them food and oil. It sucks because the USA doesn't want them to get it. Just the USA being the USA. Bless their souls. But don't throw my name in there like I have anything to do with them not getting food. I'm not part of the government. I'm not a Fed. I don't support the bullshit that's going on. It's fucked up. Nobody can even help. Well, when you have a government who's going to basically tariff any country who tries, and probably throw a regular person in jail who's rich enough to help, who's going to help? Dealing with a lunatic who will make your life a living hell if you try to help, I can understand. I don't like it, but I can understand why people wouldn't help. I didn't say people were right not to help. 6 minutes of stoppage time, okay. Well, there's 2 more. Guess they're adding another minute. But either way, it's either keep the lunatic happy or die. And I guess more people are more worried about themselves than worried about helping others and being a hero. Ball crossed in. Blocking aid and food is crazy. I agree. But that's just corner, 95th minute. I agree. Food and aid are needed for people to live. If you're so pro-life, actually, that is a perfect. Crossed in. Crossed back over. It's out for a goal kick. If you're so pro-life, why you want to delay aid and block aid to people who need food and water and aid? You're not really pro-life. If you're going to do that, you're not really pro-life. You're pro the birth of anybody who might believe in your bullshit. Also, if you really want to go there, pro-birth is not pro-life. Because pro-life, technically, is wanting the best life for the people on this earth. Realizing that there are kids that will not, or people that will not have a good life if they are born. because of birth defects or the situation their family is in or their mother is in. Free kick? No, it's a goal kick for Pumas. So, I mean, if you really think about it, full time and Pumas advance by the skin of their teeth. You really go full time, 1-0. On the night, 1-1 on aggregate. Seeding for Pumas puts them in the final. They will host the final second leg. Cruz Azul versus Pumas in the final. Two 0 because of a keeper blunder. No, I think Cruz Azul's the better team. With that being said, congratulations to Pumas. Felicidades Pumas. Go figure. Calvary wins. Told you. Adrisi's freaking out. I don't blame him. But maybe playing like Atletico Madrid won't work for you. Maybe when you have like chances to win 5-0, maybe you should score 3 of those goals. Then we wouldn't be in this situation. Maybe. How could Cruz Azul be better when they usually choke finals? I said on paper Cruz Azul's better. You're probably right, though. Yeah, Pumas will probably win. Just because Cruz Azul chokes. But on paper, Cruz Azul is the better players, and Pumas didn't show me nothing. They just got lucky by seeding. Just like Chivas did. But we'll see what happens. With that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Well, I mean, they also won their other tie. But they won outright. So, winning outright means more than advancing on seeding just because your goalie saved your ass in leg 1 and you got an absolutely banger free kick and then the other team couldn't score. I don't know about you, but I think Cruz Azul is better off than Pumas. Pumas is lucky to be in the final. Let's be real. They shouldn't be. But they are because of rules. And Keylor Navas absolutely freaking was a stonewall except for 1 goal in the first leg. It is what it is. With that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once you subscribe. Hit that hype button to put this up in the algorithm. Hit that join button to become a member. Send super chats on all live streams. Comment on this video. Put this in playlists. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. I'll have the review up within the hour of this game. And tomorrow we'll be live for Montreal Canadiens versus at the Buffalo Sabres Game 7. And we'll review that as well. Tuesday we're off. No, I'm not doing the Chelsea game because Tottenham can't even be mathematically relegated or even put in the relegation zone by Chelsea. So, no, we're not doing that. I told you Tottenham would have to be mathematically relegated if I wanted to do that game. Or I was going to do that game. They can't be. Hell, not even put in the relegation zone. So, no. Wednesday, Europa League final. Thursday, first leg of Liga MX final. Friday, off, I think. Saturday, TFC. Sunday, second leg of the F1 Canadian Grand Prix and the second leg of the Liga MX final. So with that being said, I will see you within the hour, and then I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Ryan, and I'm out. Peace. A rare Monday stream. Huh? What do you know?